live from the Thomas house in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee, guys. I'm standing in the hallway of where Sarah's room is. In fact, I'll show you. We have room 37. So if you've ever seen Ghost Hunters' Dead and Breakfast episode, this is the infamous hallway where you have Sarah's room. We're staying on the other side. So many times I've told a story about an incident that happened here that kind of changed me, and really got me hooked on the paranormal. This is it. This is the chair. This right here is the chair. The first time we ever had a K2 and a flashlight light up simultaneously. This is the chair right here. This is where they were sitting, the exact chair. So they were lighted. Like you see, I get them to light the stuff up on our videos. This is how they were doing it, right? They did it for the first time right here on this chair, and it hooked me, and that was such a powerful experience. So I'm going to give you guys a quick tour back. And here's the staircase. Here, I'll give you guys a quick tour from coming in the front door, because really it's a beautiful place. I don't know how many people are going to hop on. This wasn't a planned live, but I wanted to show you guys a little something. Well, okay, here's the front door. Clean the camera off. All right, so on Ghost Hunters, you see them, and Paranormal State, they walk in the door right here. This is the scene you see. That's the front desk. So I'll show you real quick. There's some pictures over here, actually. So this hotel was built by the Cloyd family. And that gentleman back there on the wall, that's the gentleman who built this house. That's Mr. Cloyd. So here you have, there's Jason Hawes and Daryl and Cherry. They're the owners here. And the brother David. Their mother used to own the place too. She's passed. There she is. There's Miss Evelyn. She's passed now. That's the Cole family. But here you go. Here's when Paranormal State was here. And then, of course, Jason and Grant. And here's the dining room. Well, they were having dinner. We wanted to actually do a live from this desk right here, which I thought would be cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Because it's like, yeah, isn't that cool?
That is.
That is. So I figured, I'd sit right here. This is a neat little setup. So they have little get-togethers, and this is a really active. Last night we were actually set up. Here's the chair. We set the stuff up right here on the chair, and we were back behind there, and we got some really good interaction. So let's go upstairs and go to the sitting room. So only twice have we heard the whistling.
Okay.
So Mr. Cloyd, when he would work, fix up the place or work around the property, he would whistle. So it's a common occurrence where they hear whistling out of nowhere. And we've actually heard that a couple of times. You hear like stuff like that. And it just, you're down the hallway by yourself, and then you hear that come out of thin air. Little bit unnerving.
Just a little.
Okay, so the second time we stayed here, we were leaving this hallway, headed this way. I turn around at this point right here, and Tab's right passing that room, and she's right about here. And I saw, I hate even stepping in this room right now. But, okay. Oh, you motherfucker. I knew you was going to do that. See what you did to me. You got me cussing so loud. God, you startled me. Shame on you. Shame on you. You got me to curse.
I love you.
Yep. All right. That's an MFer.
In that scary room waiting.
Yeah. See, she didn't even see what I saw, guys. I'm going to finish the story. Shame on you. So I was turned around watching, and I saw something step out of this room. A black shadow figure standing, and it blocked out this. It blocked out the white. You could see it was blacker than black. And it was standing behind her. I feel so bad because they have kids here, and she just got me the. Now I'm embarrassed. Okay, where's she? I hear her down there. Tab, are you on the phone?
Oh, I gotta turn this down.
Okay.
I didn't know you were live.
You didn't know I was live?
I was wondering where you were.
Oh, I was doing a quick tour. I'm sorry. So last night, guys, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to get the editing done and show you guys. So last night we had the stuff set up on that chair, and I was sitting back here in this chair, and we had the camera facing out like this, and there were little white. It's the only way to describe it is white shadows.
Yeah.
Like a white shadow. There is a. Yeah, I know. All right. I'm getting texts. I'm seeing that. I know. That's what. Hey, I'm cool. I'm cool. They're gonna have a laugh at my expense. That's fine. That's
I'm
good
sorry.
stuff.
I really didn't know you were live yet. I thought you were gonna let me know when we were going live because I'm part of the show.
Well, didn't you get a notification?
Yeah, when I came back in here, I was hiding in that room for a long time. I took my flip flops off and everything.
Oh, okay, guys. This is in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. We're actually on Main Street in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee, and there's a whole line of historic hotels here that are all haunted. This whole town is well, the population of Red Boiling Springs is 1,200, so it's a very small town, way out in the middle of nowhere. We got the password to the Wi-Fi, so we actually have it was so hard to get anything to come in last night, so good thing we waited. Now we have it would have been a terrible show.
There's a lot of roads where like today we went to a diner to have lunch, this 40s diner.
Right.
And if you don't pre-program for your destination, there's no internet access. You can only do an emergency call, like for miles and miles and miles.
Yep. It just says SOS. Nothing. You get no service whatsoever. It's even like the what do you call it? The GPS things that you can get, like a Garmin.
Yeah.
Those don't work either. So you got to have everything, like she said, pre-done. So anyways, we're sitting in this room last night, and we are doing our session, and we're hearing walking out there, and we're seeing what I can describe as white shadows. Okay, and this is what was happening. I'm going to show you. You would see this. You would see the shadow going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and they were like a white mist, and it almost had a stride to it, like a little child.
That was pretty cool.
Yes. I was just gonna say that.
So I left. So all right, there's so much on the video, guys. Like I should have started outside the front door. So everybody wants to come here to go to room 37 because they've seen the shows and they want to connect with Sarah, the little girl spirit. She's kind of the resident ghost that everybody. Well, you hear her voice on Ghost Hunters when they enter. When Jason and Grant enter the gift shop downstairs, what happens is you hear Sarah's voice come out of nowhere, and she says, "Like my toys."
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. And you can hear it, and so they actually hear her giggle, things like that. We've experienced similar things like that with the Totten family, but so everybody thinks it's Sarah. So what happened was when we had that flashlight K2 experience, we were asking, are you a male? Are you a female? And we were getting very clear, definite answers that it was. I'll get you in the camera here so you can.
That it was a male.
That it was a male, right? So we were like, well, how old are you? And we got the age between 7 and 10. And I actually think we narrowed it down to 7. It's been years. So we come to find out this place used to have a pool out front, and a little boy named Edwin in the 60s drowned in that pool at the age of 7. So
now there's a memorial.
Yeah. They have like a bench, really nice little handmade bench out there. And it's a memorial to Edwin. And I'm telling you, when I saw that, I knew that was the boy we were talking to. I knew it. If there wasn't no, I think, like, I just somehow I knew. You know what I mean? Like it's. I don't know how I know. I think that I just recognized. Like I already knew that. It's just stuff that when you come into contact with an energy like that and you have an intimate exchange with the spirit, like I guess that they leave a piece of that. You have a connection with them. So I knew it was him. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. It's weird because I have zero psychic ability. I never have had psychic ability. Well, that's not true. Somebody we'll call each other at the same time. Like it'll be busy because we're trying to call each other. Tab and I will do that. I have premonitions and things like that. But if somebody asked me, "Hey, can you give me a reading or anything like that, or can you give me the answers to anything?" I have zero psychic ability. Okay, I don't even try. But please research appropriate techniques which provide if you want to experience within Europe. Yeah, we're all for networking and platforming with other people. We've been
also said that how old is historic? You're speaking to a man who lives in an 1828 home in Scotland.
Historic for the United States would be probably anything Victorian era or older. This was built in 1890. However, I think there was a fire around 1910, and some of the damage was fixed. But for the most part, the place here, that this family, we really adore the family that owns this place.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can. We'll set the REM pod up there and see if we get anything. Set it right here.
Well, there's definitely a lot of energy in that house.
Oh yeah. So they've seen spirits of a traveling salesman. What they think is a traveling salesman. Tall, skinny fella wearing a very old, I guess like 30s, 20s, 30s era suit and hat, and and he's carrying a suitcase of some kind.
Is there anything of like a woman, like with I know this is gonna sound weird, like a black dress?
I'm not sure about the women. There's multiple. There is something about one of the women in the Cloyd family.
Because I can see like a woman with like a collared like black neck and it like buttoned down. And it's like really long sleeves and a really long dress.
It's funny that you mentioned that actually, because on the interview on Ghost Hunters, Miss Evelyn tells the story about, and her bedroom was downstairs on the first floor, but she tells a story about how she woke up and she saw a couple of women standing there in period clothing, like you just talked about, just standing there, and one of them was giving her like a very warm smile. just checking on you, like a welcoming type of smile.
Yeah, I don't feel like she's bad or anything.
That was shared with us when we
Yes.
first started staying here.
Yes, she told us that.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I forgot about that. Yep, you just reminded me of that.
Because that's what I keep seeing. As you were walking through and you were showing me before we went on, that's what I kept seeing. Was this lady.
No, Ryan, I appreciate that those are your beliefs, and I respect that. If you don't want to interact with spirits, you don't have to.
We don't partake with
we
evil
we,
spirits.
we don't get involved in,
No.
in arguing about religion or anything like that. We go, we talk to spirits, and we come at this from a scientific background, and we look at it and analyze the evidence scientifically, and we put up what we get. We don't try to convince people one way or the other. We get what we get, and we've been doing this for the better part of 20 years now. So we got a lot of experience doing that. And if you guys wanted to be uh, limited and believe that everything's demonic, and not expand your mind beyond what somebody told you, then that's your right. Okay, because and then I feel sorry for you, because like what I do is something. Here's what I'll touch on it briefly. What we do is we investigate, and we produce paranormal phenomena that can be repeated, observed and repeated over and over again. Uh, so what you have is real, tangible evidence of something paranormal. We interact with spirits like at night. We will have flashlights turning on and off intelligently, and those are just spirits. Those are people without bodies. You don't have to fear that. And I'm really trying. The people that actually are scared of that and think that's demonic, let me tell you, first off, it's not. Um, First off, those are just people without a body. We're all going to be there. Okay. Where do you think we go when we lose our body? We go to that next realm of existence.
So that's our belief.
That's what it is. We can prove that. Look at this REM pod is lighting up right there right now. You see it flashing on the top.
Mhm.
So somebody is touching that. Can you make that beep? Try to pick that can up. If you try to pick it up, it'll actually read more of your energy and beep.
I think you should get closer to that.
I zoomed in.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. But anyways, let's talk about the demonic end of it, okay? Well, we do a lot of spirit box work, guys, and I can pretty much shoot that, and this is how I can prove, guys, that it's not demonic, okay? So and it's really, if you want to talk to any of your friends or relatives that have passed, you can do that, and you're not selling your soul to do that. They can speak through electronic devices, bend radio frequency into words. Um, so you can do that with a spirit box, which is basically just a radio. Now, boom. See, they're basically acknowledging that right over there.
Mhm.
Can you back away and make that stop, please? Come towards me so it quits beeping. Thank you. So in the process of doing the spirit box and talking with spirits, guys, we've heard stuff like G, Jesus taught me I want to get into the kingdom. We hear a lot about heaven. We hear a lot about God, Jesus. Um, they talk about the Bible. So I can tell you right now, a demonic entity would never promote Jesus Christ. A demonic entity would never tell you to get a Bible. And I have EVP saying you need to get a Bible. Um, I have EVPs. I have spirit communication with Reverend John Collins, who is the head. He actually started the circuit in Claremont County, Ohio. He started a church back in the early 1800s, and we've communicated with him. So, I really, not that it bothers me when people start with the demonic stuff with that. it just I hate to see people not giving themselves the opportunity to experience something real and something cool, and and to learn more about what we're doing here. Why are we here? Where do we go? What are we really? You know what I mean? Because it's, I don't know, I get very passionate about that. Let's see. Out here we got a very high EMF. We were seeing that last night. You see this? Look at this. You see that? So they can actually use this. Can't see those.
I don't know if I'm on a lag.
It's a few seconds behind. See? A lot of EMF. So that's why we're using the REM pod. Because when you have a place that has a baseline that's high like that, the flashlights in the REM pod is a little better. USA, UK, Russia. We're sitting at a historical haunted bed and breakfast. That's what we're doing. We're hanging out with the spirits here and just having a good time. We're waiting for it to get dark because we got a couple of experiments we're gonna try ourselves.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, what do you think of this place?
Well, Tiffany was saying about the lady that she was getting. I was wondering what kind of energy she was feeling.
Nothing bad. She didn't seem
Yeah.
like she was like there to harm anybody or anything. It's more like she's just watching over.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
what Miss Evelyn thought, that they were. She actually believed that they were members of the Cloyd family, and they were just observed. Well, I believe that the Cole family. So there's a big story about uh, the passing of the property from one family to the next. Somehow it went from the family, out of the family, back to the family.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But anyways, I know that the Cole family, who have it now, love it just as much as the people who built it, and
oh wow,
see,
Mhm.
they
I
can.
feel very fortunate because when we first started coming here several years ago, Miss Evelyn was here. She was the matriarch of the family. This was pretty much her place. So and she's passed away now, but we got to hear a lot of stories from like everybody within the family, but they're all kind of older now, and some of them are in poorer health. So I feel very fortunate for that time and all the stories that were shared with us over the years, especially when we brought our kids here. And to answer Blank Man, we are located, this is located in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. Population like 1,200, very, very small town with most of what's left is really historic, actually. They're starting to build a few new things we noticed when we were driving around the town.
They built a brand new park right down the road here. So when we first came here, we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee first. And that is on the complete other end of Tennessee. It's a long state horizontally, right? So it's funny because we're in Ohio. It took us 4.5 hours to drive to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, but it took us 4.5 hours to get from Gatlinburg, Tennessee to Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee, because we had to drive from west to east, straight across the state. So we were coming in from a different direction. And as we were coming in, we were seeing old Victorian houses that were completely abandoned, fallen into disrepair. So we've always wanted to go and revisit that. So we did. We drove. We drove to. We drove down that area. We stopped. We zoomed in on a few of the houses. We actually did a couple of spirit boxes outside some of those houses, but they've actually salvaged a few of them.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. A couple of them have been renovated and they're being fixed up. They're doing that to a few of these hotels, and I love that. I love old architecture. It's the best. They don't make it. They don't build like they used to.
Actually, when we're done with our live, before we set up to do our experiments, I'm going to go down and read some of those historic signs because I want to. That's my thing. I like to read the history about.
Can we see the church from here if we look out? Let me see. So there used to be a church across the street. Okay. You can't. Let me see. You can see. through there. There's a church over there. There's a big pile of debris where it's been knocked down. You can't see through the trees there. That patch of grass right there is where the pool used to be. You can see it's a different color. But yeah, this is a really, really special property. So the energy of this place definitely kind of shifts a little bit. You agree, huh? Can you back away? I want to ask you a question. You make it stop me, but I want to ask you something. I'm just going to set up these flashlights. Are you the spirit that I was talking to yesterday? Were you lighting up the K2s and making that beat yesterday? Hey, Lucas. Can you hear me now, Trisha? I hope that were you saying you couldn't hear me or Dad? I know she was sitting a few feet away. Yeah, so this is, we were trying to get down here for a while. Can you turn that off? Can you twist that off for me, please? Can you please twist that flashlight off? Turn it off. You got it. Thank you. So, hey, Wanda, can you guys hear me? Wanda, can you hear me? Because Trisha says she can't hear anything. I want to make sure you can hear. Oh, okay. It's roboting. Okay, so I guess we got bad reception. That stinks.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, it could be. How about now? Did that make a difference? Tell me if that made a difference, because I don't know if Tabitha having her phone open to YouTube, even with the volume down, it could have been affecting it. Tell me if that sounds any better, guys. I see a kitty. That looks like my tiger.
No, he's a kitten.
Oh,
His name is Ross.
no better, huh? Oh well, that stinks. Well, sorry,
Can you
guys.
hear on his phone? It's not sound like a robot? No. It's not sound like a robot on my husband's phone.
Oh, okay. Weird.
So, weird.
Can you take this down the hallway and tell me what it sounds like? Open it to YouTube. Yeah, just pop the phone out. And yeah, and then tell me put it on to our show and tell me if it sounds robotic and bad. Can somebody turn that flashlight on? Whoever turned it off, if you're out there, can you turn it on and say hello? Sometimes we have a few spirits that travel with us, and
They're there with you.
oh yeah, they. I know I have 8 of them. Getting a little better. Okay, cool. A lot of them travel with us all the time, and I just lost my train of thought. Just it just escaped me right out my ear and floated away.
It's so funny. It's like last night when I texted you and I said like those 2 names. My God, what were the names again?
Ooh.
I can't remember now. I'm like having.
Oh, it's bad. Okay. Well, that stinks.
Yeah, weird. But those names last night that I said were talking.
Yeah.
And they told me to be careful with the stairs. The weird thing is it was my husband's family.
Really?
coming through. Yeah, because after I said it to my husband, he's like, "Oh, those are my cousins' names." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Their anniversaries are actually coming up of their death." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why are they talking about Johnny?" And he was like, "I don't know."
It's pretty bad, babe.
Is it? You can't tell what we're saying?
I mean, it's like a popping nonstop. All you
Oh.
hear is like crackling.
How about now? Does that make a difference if this thing's off of that? Is there a gay ghost? Well, I guess if they're gay in life, they would be gay in the afterlife. I don't know. Is that better? Trisha says it's better. Tab, is that better? Wanda says it's better.
Stop.
Let me know, Tab. You're gonna be the. Any good? Tab.
I said it's gone.
Oh, it's gone. Okay, so that's probably the way my phone was sitting in this freaking tripod. It's my fault. All right, cool. That's not good. No, it wouldn't be. But there's they do. They will. I know you're joking around, but there are ghosts that we have caught EVPs of ghosts saying very vulgar and nasty things.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
very sexual in nature too, very perverted. I exclude stuff from that from videos all the time. That being said, we also get pranksters from the other side, spirit trolls, if you will. Uh, like yesterday, we got here. We were in our room, and let me go over here. I'm gonna get me a drink, and I set up the stuff just temporarily, just to see if we had any spirits ready to communicate. And they turned off my.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is a pretty cool sign here. They had this made, dead and breakfast. Yeah, there is. There's a story behind that too. It's a funny story, but that's the name of the episode on Ghost Hunters when they investigated here. Dead and breakfast. It's right. I think I kept telling everybody it was the Whistler, but it's not the Whistler. It's Dead and Breakfast.
But there was a whistler here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was Mr. Cloyd. He would whistle while he worked. I've looked at a lot of the pictures of these people from the 1800s and the early 1900s. Nobody is overweight at all. So it's obviously they didn't have all the crap food that we eat this day and age. Like Mr. Cloyd was very, very thin. I was noticing that, and I was like, wow, for a very thin guy, he built one heck of a house. He was like really, really thin. And then I looked at a lot of I have a big album of pictures that I rescued from a dumpster, and they're from the 1800s. It's this whole entire family's book full of photos. And back then they were all thin. So it was definitely the foods. I mean, meat had to be like salt cured. If you didn't eat it fresh that day when you butchered it, everything had to be cured in salt, and that couldn't be the most healthy thing. I mean, it's not like you're gonna gorge yourself on that. You eat just enough to get by. I don't know. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but just something I noticed. Well, I would like somebody to turn a flashlight on. Maybe if I run the box for a minute. The only see that Here's the thing. We ran into this problem when we were at Bobby Mackey's. When we were in the tunnel, which takes you basically the portal to hell, is what they call it. But we were going in reverse. Were you there with me? Can you light up a flashlight? So, anyways, we got into that tunnel, and the radio, there was no reception. And you do need reception for a spirit box to work. See, that's the big misconception that I had when I first got a spirit box. I bought a Faraday bag to put the spirit box in because I didn't want blips of radio coming through. But what I didn't understand is that they take those and they bend those into their own words, what they want to say. So I didn't realize the breakdown of how it works. You know what I mean? If I would have known that, I would have never bought the Faraday bag. So when we were in the sewer pipe, it's basically just a sewer, guys, that washes out from an old slaughterhouse. That's what Bobby Mackey's was. So that portal, it's just a well that washed out to the Licking River. So we climbed up inside of it, and there was zero radio reception. So the spirit boxes were basically useless. The only thing you get is a little bit of AM band down there because it's much stronger. So we do get a little bit of AM band here. Very minimal FM, but we do get some AM, and it's enough to we've gotten some really good stuff. So let's see if we can set it up. Normally, they start with the flashlights when I have the spirit box going. Let's see, I'm going to try to put this thing back in there. Tell me if the popping starts again. It shouldn't. This shouldn't affect it. This is just the bottom of the phone. All right, let's see. I would like you to turn a flashlight on. Whoever was just beeping that, do you know how to turn on one of those flashlights? You might know it as a torch. I don't know when you were alive, but if you twist the ends of those long, skinny devices there, it'll light up. Let's see. See if we can get anybody to say hello. Ready. I would like to, if there's any of the Cloyd family here, we'd like to hear you say your name. Can you say Cloyd? Or say your name of whoever you are, whoever you may be. Is that I heard something. What? Something, Sarah? Talk to Sarah. It's very robotic. Yeah. What's the demonic situation you've been in?
You've been it.
You've been. Yeah, I think it's a typo. What are you trying to say, Kevin? What's the demonic situation you've been? Is that, do you mean to say in? Oh, the demonic. Are you talking about? I think he's talking about Bobby Mackey's. I was talking about the portal to hell. That yeah. Well.
But I was terrified to go into that well. It took you time to talk me into going into that.
My bad. The baddest situation you've been in. Are you talking about the most dangerous or the most scared I've ever been? Because those are two different things.
I think when it comes to paranormal, probably the scaredest. Hey, Wanda.
What? I don't know. What do you? So we saw on Memorial Day, we saw a black shadow. I saw a black shadow figure sprinting through a cemetery, through an area that was open. There wasn't any big headstones in the area, and I saw it actually running away from us. But it was big. It was very. It was about 6 foot tall, medium build, very, very, very clear outline. I could see arms and legs striding as he was running. Okay, so that startled me, but I would say one of the more scarier things was at Bethel Churchyard. And that would be, it sounded like I was going to get football tackled.
Yeah, I
You,
got that sensation there too.
yeah. So what happens is that there's a gatekeeper or a kind of a spiritual gatekeeper to this churchyard, this old cemetery. And if they don't want you there, they what it said, they run, you can hear footsteps running up towards you like you're getting ready to get tackled. Like
It literally chased me out one night to
yes,
the point where
it's freaky
I was crying. I was in tears afterwards. I felt very, very uncomfortable after.
because they come. Okay, so what happens is they they run through you. You can hear them coming towards you, and then right when you think you're going to get tackled, you get hit with this blast of energy. Wow. And it's sickening. It's very it's unnerving, and it touches you to your core.
Yeah.
If just imagine it like knowing your greatest weakness that would scare you the most, and that button that you have inside you, deep inside you, and it just runs through you and smacks that button, and you there's nothing you can do about it, and it triggers that fear in you, that animalistic fear that you can't suppress. That's what it does. And that's those are very few and far between for me. Like when I hear something and I see something, I go towards it.
Yeah, kinda.
I do, unless I get a bad vibe.
I'm telling a story because I said I was going to tell a story.
All right, tell a story. You want to put you on the
Yeah.
camera? Okay, tell a story.
Yeah. Last night,
She's
that
gonna throw
same
me on.
room that I was hiding in, that's why I was hiding in that room, because last night,
What am I smelling? The underside of a bus? Okay, go ahead.
last night we were coming by that room and we were like recording, and it's already eerie because we've had an experience there.
Yeah, the shadow figures. Yeah.
So he gets startled by something there, jumps, runs past me. And so he runs by me, so it scares me. I scream. I take off running with him, but I guess I run into him. He like body checks me and takes off into the bedroom.
Not true.
Yes, you did.
My version is a little bit different, guys.
He body checked me and took off in the bedroom, and I'm thinking, what the hell? You got scared and you were just going to leave me out here? You didn't even save me.
Okay, I have video evidence, guys, of her leaving me in the dust on video where something happens and she literally runs. I turn around and she's 75 yards away and I don't even know it. And
You're the man, period.
Oh, so I'm the bait?
Absolutely.
Okay, I know.
Absolutely.
So here's what was happening. Here's my version of the story. You guys can decide who you want to believe. So we're walking by that room. Okay. We're walking by that room. And the room's to my left. She's to my left. So she's in between me and the room. Right as we pass the room, I look to my left. I see shadow play right there. And I go, oh. And she goes, ah! And just like plows into me. And I kind of push her off. And at the same time, we're both hurrying to the door, our room door, which is like 10 feet away. That's what really happened. Just saying.
You pushed
I don't
me
know.
off.
I have to believe Tab on that one.
Yeah, I somehow I knew that was going to happen. That's all right.
Have you ever had an experience like that, Tiffany, before anywhere? Like something just kind of...
It's startling, not scary.
I mean, it takes a lot to scare me because I usually know what's coming. The only time I ever really got terrified was when my mom died, and this was before I could like my ability was like able to work. but me and my husband both heard my mom's voice clear as day say hello. That was the only thing that ever scared me, really. Otherwise, I
Why
really
would
don't
that
get
scare
too
you?
freaked out because she just died,
Yeah.
and she
That's
is
called
not a nice. She was not nice.
that's
So
called ADC. That's a
it
very
was
common thing. After death.
scary, and we were
Really?
both like, "What the heck?" Like, we both up and looked, and it was terrifying. That was the only time I ever was really scared.
I could see
But
that.
yeah,
Uh,
she just died, and like you hear her voice in your doorway, and you're like, "What?" Like, it scared the
yeah.
crap out of me. Scared the
I
crap out of
I
me.
shared a story before.
About your grandpa. You not
Like
want to
what?
hear.
Yes, exactly. You
Yeah, I remember the
remember.
story.
Like I used to be. For some reason, I would feel like this energy, like my grandfather after he passed away, and I was only 11, but I was very close to him and my grandmother. Um, I would have this energy like he was going to come visit me at some point, and so I would pray all the time that because he was a deacon in the church and we grew up very religious. I'm more spiritual now, I think, than I am religious, but um so I would pray at night that he would not like show himself to me because I
Mhm.
think I felt like I would be afraid if I seen or heard him, it would make me feel different. So
No,
uh,
it definitely is scary, like, when you can see them. I mean, okay, I have another time when I was working in New York, and I was sitting in the car, like, on FaceTime with my husband, and I kept feeling like this lady staring at me in the car from across from me. So I'm like, "There's this old lady looking at me," and I was getting mad. I was like, "What is she looking at?" And all of a sudden, a car drove by and the light shined in, and there was nobody there. But I could clearly see this old Asian lady with blacked out eyes staring at me. And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh my god." I found out who it was, but it was creepy, especially when you like see them like a full on person, because I don't always see them like a full person, but when you can see them as a full person, it definitely frightens you.
Okay, Kevin, I got some stories for you there, buddy. So, as you can see, my wife is biracial, and her mother and her stepfather lived in an all black area. And I drive. So, in fact, we inherited that house. We were partial owners of that house, and we were renting to uh, her in laws' family. And,
Since my
anyways,
mother passed away at
right, right.
17.
Right. So we sold that property, and I drive through from time to time just to see uh, how things are going. They're renovating that property. There was two houses on that property. The front house, her stepbrother passed away from hypothermia in that house a couple years ago, and we were not we were kind of estranged from that side of the family by that point, but because after her mom and her stepfather passed, we just didn't
They
keep in
were pretty
contact.
much our only connections to
Right.
that side. There was some family drama there.
So he passed from hypothermia in the front house. Then years prior to that, in the back house, before her mom and stepfather passed, there was a fire there, and her cousin passed in that house. Now that's on Jackson Street in Lincoln Heights in Cincinnati, and Jackson Street probably has 100 shootouts a year.
No, I mean, it really resonated with me what he said when he said you find a lot of bad spirits in the ghetto because of
Yes,
all the pain and suffering. I mean, right
yes,
there were just two stories of pain and suffering
pain and
from there. I mean,
suffering.
my brother who died in the house was because they couldn't afford to
Heat,
pay the
yeah,
electric
to
bill.
pay the
There were no
electric bill,
heat,
and he
and we had a
froze.
rough winter that year, but we had no clue that he was
We,
suffering from it
or else we would
like
have
that.
taken care of that for
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So that really it makes sense. It
And then
really
Shabaka
is.
passed in the fire because he was using kerosene heaters to heat a crappy property that the electricity didn't even work in it. So it's like you're right. When you have meager means to live with,
The
uh,
devastation is different.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just a different, and I drove through there, and there's a lot of buildings that are condemned and just dilapidated. And in fact, I just took a picture of this. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna find out. It's this building that looks like some type of like lab of some kind. It's really creepy. It's really weird. I took a picture of it. I drove around the block, come back and take another picture. It was just it spoke to me in Lincoln Heights. Really? It's on the end. I'll show you the picture. You won't even. I've never even noticed it there before. So it's like, wow, what is that? But anyways, so we're looking forward to the sun going down here. In fact, it's only 7:25 here. It goes back an hour.
From where we live.
So this is Central Time, right? This is Central Time. We're in Eastern Time. Bad. Yeah.
I don't think that they thrive on people's misfortunes. I just think that there seems to be a lot more spirits in places where there's a lot more misfortune, just simply because of the way of life, because there's more death, because there's less means. I don't think anybody thinks that they thrive on that. That's not at least what I meant by that comment at all.
Yeah, no, it all depends on the spirit, guys.
Just like in the 1800s, there were a lot more deaths. So I think that's why a lot of those older historic places are haunted. Like a lot more people died because there was there wasn't medication.
Yep.
You know, that kind of thing.
No sanitation.
And a lot of places, and I don't even like to say haunted, because a lot of places are just like where the spirits just come back because they just like to be there.
True.
So it's not even like they want to haunt it. They think you're bothering them because you're moving things around their house and they don't realize it 90% of the time.
And you know what?
That's a perfect way to put
and that makes sense, because when you're we're going to be on the spirit side way longer than we're going to be on this side, the living side, right? So they've been here since they've built this house. I don't think they want to go anywhere. So they've been residing at this place way longer than anybody living. So to them, it is theirs. You know,
and that's why you'll find like different layers like in a house too. Like you'll find some that are like early 1800s and then 1900s, different families, because different people did different things in those houses.
Yeah.
So that's why you see them at different times too. And sometimes they don't even know they're all together until you bring it up.
That's the thing.
Didn't Tiffany's the one who picked up the spirit of the grandmother at my daughter's?
Yeah. Did I ever send you the EVP of that?
I don't remember. You might have.
So literally, my daughter was having a baby right at that time. We were doing that live, and we had just found out that the owner, it's an Indian family, and the gentleman mentioned that the previous tenants was an elderly couple, and the woman had passed there, and they lived there for many, many years. And you picked up on an elderly woman, and then literally we caught, the grandchildren are precious, and you could tell it was an elderly woman. You could tell it was such an awesome EVP. But like that was validation. That was really cool. Oh yeah, the Oddfellows home. That's a good one. You know what? We should be doing that. Lisa Wigger's right. She says it's the same. It's the same Oddfellows home where Zach is, but she's talking about Amy Bruni and Chip Coffey come at least once a year. We should be going to a lot of those bed and breakfasts that were featured on those shows.
That's our plan soon.
Yep. Well, we're going to be traveling as of February. Yeah. We're going to be on the road, guys, all the time. Like we're going to be, so it's going to be different. It's going to be different. Going to be fun.
It's going to be way different. We're like,
you're going to have to come to Florida.
Getting rid of everything and hitting the road for a few years. So.
Well, hey, the world's much more. Oh yeah, Keith. No, you're right. I've said many times on these live streams that our tiny little peanut brains, and I'm joking when I say that, but we don't have the time in our life span, to even start to understand the big picture of what infinite space is, what time really is. What is time to the infinite world? We live in a finite world, where everything has a start and a finish. You're born, you die. You build a house, the house falls down. The tree grows out of the ground, it dies, and then it perishes, and it's just the complete cycle from start to finish. In the spirit world, there's a start, Or is there? Or is I don't know if there's even a start. There's just there is just an is. It is. It just is. It's there. It exists. Um, I don't even think that our minds can comprehend that fully. Think about that. When you think about going into space and you travel in either direction and you can never stop. You can just keep going and going and going. You can't even picture that with with our brains in this finite universe. You can't. It doesn't compute in our minds. So when we get to that side, it's I think we're privy to that information. We get to be a part of the Akashic record at that point, where we get to have a little more um, input on what the big picture
Well,
is.
you know everything when you die. You get enlightened.
You
That's what
you
they made me feel like. When I talk to spirits, it's like when you say something, I'm like, "Oh, I already knew that." Or
okay?
they know more than you know about
They know
things that are
more,
a lot more.
but why? Okay, so here's where we can get into some of the Sally House too. I would love to do the Sally House thing, so we're gonna do that. So I've had spirits ask, "Where are the Tottens?" We're at a cemetery that we frequent on a regular basis, and I have
Mhm.
EVPs of spirits saying, "Where are the Tottens?" And the Totten family is a family from the 1800s, from the Cincinnati area, that we met actually from doing what we do, from going to that cemetery, doing the spirit box. They came through the spirit box, and they've stuck with us ever since. We have at least 8 of them that follow us home, and they stay with us. So there are spirits saying, "Where are the Tottens?" Why wouldn't they know that? Shouldn't they know that where they're at?
Well, it
Like,
depends. They go into different areas, if that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, it's I guess
There's different levels is what I say. And
vibrate right,
everyone
different
believes in different
vibration
things.
levels.
So some people are, you know, they're good and they come and they go, and they go into those different levels. It's hard to explain. There's a lot. So, and like I said, and sometimes
Ooh,
spirits don't see other spirits. And that's why they're asking. We're like, "Where are they?" Cuz sometimes they don't see them.
yeah. Kevin says, "Do you believe evil influences the way or world is ran?" I know an experience that's true to me. When I first started doing this, and I didn't. When I first started really hitting pay dirt with the spirit box and really started connecting with people's family, and really like taking it a step further than most people I've seen with a spirit box. um I started having spirits manipulate my emotions. I
That was
was
rough. That was rough.
Yeah, I went through a period where they were able to change my mood. They were able to make me super depressed. They were able to make me get very upset, enraged, to where there was no reason for it. And no matter how much I tried to fight against it, it didn't work until I figured out how to deal with it, right? So yes, they can most definitely influence people in the living world.
Oh yeah,
They
they
they,
can.
they can also set up meetings of people. Like, it was arranged for me to meet Lynn by my brother who passed away, and another friend's son who passed away, and they collaborated. It's a long story, but yes, they do a lot of work from that side. No,
Mhm.
you're good, Trisha. Is the
We
sound still
do a
good?
lot of work from that side. I agree with that. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more too on Kevin's. There was a comment. I might have been out of the room getting our drinks, where it says a lot of Black people believe that family comes back when they die, and it's not them, it's spirits. So I was saying how I was raised by the Black side of my family, my
Yep.
mom's side of the family, and my grandfather was a deacon in the church.
Yep.
So the very first experience I had actually was in their home, when an uncle's he was a close family friend of ours, when I saw his head like floating in the kitchen, just his head, and it was like speaking to me, and it really really shook me up. So I was raised that like that negativity, like my grandmother made me pray on that. Like she really believed too that like you would see those kind of things. Like I don't know, the way I was raised in my grandmother's home is like the spirits and stuff that not they were necessarily negative, but it was something to be afraid of.
Yes.
That's, I guess, is the word. Like she did not. I don't even know that she believed in those things. I don't really know. Like they believe in the Holy Ghost and things because people would get like the
Sure.
Holy Ghost in church, you know. But I don't know that she believed that like my grandfather. No, she would believe a spirit was there, but she wouldn't want to see it. Like a ghost was a bad
It would
thing, I
scare
guess,
her. Right.
is the only way to explain it. A ghost was a bad thing, but she would believe like my grandfather's spirit was there, like looking over
From heaven,
us.
right.
From heaven.
And that's true, and they're together.
That
We
was
have
their
them
holy-
saying they're together. We have EVPs
Correct.
of that.
But it was her and my mother who very first came through when
Yep.
we opened up the spirit box
And
in
Gary,
our house.
yes,
Yeah.
in our house, and we were blown away. We were like, "Wow, is this even possible?" Like, "Wow, because I tried to get my family to come through for a long time, and only her family came through. They just wouldn't come through. And I thought, is it like a psychic block? You know, because I know a lot of psychics can't read their own family. You know what I mean? They got to have somebody else do it. So the cool part is with the spirit box, anybody can do that and connect with any person. You know, because that is like the intermediary between you, the
Yeah.
spirit box. So you don't, there's no blocker there.
Yeah. And Lisa made a comment way earlier in the chat that when we are told to leave or we feel negativity,
We leave. Yes.
And that is true. And I pick up on a lot of negative energy. I'm like an
You're-
empath by nature, so I can pick up on good and bad energy, I feel like, pretty easily. Sometimes I'm wrong, but I also
No, you're
don't
more.
like
You're
when
right
they
more
make
than you're
when
not.
it makes me feel uncomfortable, regardless if it's a threat or not. I don't like that feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, we do have family, Kevin, and then we have the Totten family, which is like our adopted family on the spirit side. They will tell us, leave, get out, time to leave, hurry up, hurry up and go. We rely on them, so it's, and then about like you were saying with not just black people,
No.
even
I know.
I know, because a lot of Baptists and a lot of blacks are Baptists.
Yes. Yeah.
Particularly your family.
Yeah.
Your grandfather was a deacon in the Baptist church. And Baptist is not too far off from like
Catholic
from
religion.
Catholic, right? It's just the way the structure of their services and things like that. But we were taught that there are no ghosts, spirits, or it's angels and demons and this and that, and it's like, that's not everything is 100% fact, so sometimes the stuff that we learn is not accurate.
You and I kind of connected though on that level very easily as far as the religion goes. Like even though you were Catholic background and I was Baptist, we really let our children like choose. And our youngest daughter is very, very spiritual. She's just very, very into like the calm and the energy feeling and the stones, like naturally, like that just is her
Because
aura.
it's because it's a real thing. She realizes that energy that's what life is, energy. Everything. That's all we're made up of is water and electricity.
I feel like a lot of our psychic friends that we've met, I don't know about Tiffany, are pretty religious. Like Lynn is very religious. Are you very religious, or do you consider yourself more?
I am not religious at all. I am like, I know there's a God and stuff like that. Obviously. But I'm not very religious at all. I grew up Protestant. So like we went to church very rarely, but my parents never stopped me from going. But it just wasn't something I was into. Um my opinion, it's like I believe everybody's religion matters and they
Correct.
all come back to the same thing.
Yep.
So that's and I'll tell it to everybody. Like, I believe no matter who you pray to, it's all one person. And, everyone's religion's different. And, I don't care what religion you are, what you believe in. I respect all of it, and my kids
Yep.
go to church with friends and stuff like that. So I don't stop it. I just am not a very religious person.
No, I agree with you. Everything you said, 110%. I think I've said before, like being a critical care nurse, I've seen a lot of people like pass away, and I may not believe in their same beliefs, but I still hold their hands and pray with them, like
Sure.
at the end of life, or like regardless, and I
Mhm.
still feel the same for all of them, no matter what they practice. My
Mhm.
heart like still feels the same,
Oh yeah,
regardless.
same. I mean, I work somewhere where it's like very religious and stuff, and I don't. If anyone wants to pray, I pray with them and everything, and
Sure.
I don't mind. It don't bother me none because I know they're all going to the same place. Like, I know that God's real and everything like that.
You
Yeah,
agree, huh?
and
We
that's
would
that's
really
what I've
like
been told by spirits. It's all the same thing.
we'd really like a flashlight, guys, before the end of the show. I haven't turned one on yet.
There's a comment says, "What do you believe in then?" And I think that's still really hard for me to um, to explain, because I know that there is life after this because we've
Mhm.
proven it with what we do.
Yes.
And I've gotten some peace as far as that goes. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about what's going to happen after they.
Yeah. Does our
Yeah.
consciousness go on? That's the part. That's the point that everybody really has panic attacks about. Does our consciousness to go on, or do we just become organic matter that decays, and that's it?
And that's what I used to be afraid of. Like,
Yes.
I feel like when I was younger and I wasn't very spiritual, like that was the fear. Like, feeling like,
Am I going to not exist anymore?
correct, that I'm
Right.
going to be buried in the ground, and then there's no existence, and my body is just turns to mush, and all the terrible things that happen when you decay and you die and you're
Mhm.
buried. That's what I think the biggest fear was. Now that I'm older and more, I feel like
No, you're good, Kevin.
mature
Thanks,
and
brother.
more in tune with myself. I think that I know that there is something after this life, because we've
Mhm.
heard it. We speak to people. I speak to my loved ones, and I know that they're my loved ones. But I still don't know 100%. I guess is the only way I can answer that question.
100% what?
Well, the question
Is what are we here for?
Like, what do we believe in
Oh.
then, or something?
Well,
What do you believe in then? So, like, I just try to be like a good person and bring good
That's it.
energy in my life,
Positive
and I try to keep
input.
positive energy around me, and just enjoy and take in
Mhm.
everything that I can in this life, in this moment. And I know that something exists afterwards, and so
And it matters what we
that's
do
it.
here. It
Yeah.
does matter what we do here. 100%, Kevin.
And that's kind of it. So I guess that's no belief, but I don't mind praying to a God. I don't know. I don't know what that's called, because I do pray with people, and
Mhm.
and I believe, like Tiffany said earlier, if I respect everybody else's belief. I feel like people need that for their inner peace for whatever reason, and I respect that. So I don't really know what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I agree with you. I don't put a label on my religion because I mean, I've read a lot of, Bibles from different religions and stuff like that, and like I said, I just believe that it's all one thing, and I still pray, and to whoever's listening. I mostly pray to my spirit guides, but I pray, and you know, what I'm doing, what I was put up to do on this earth, is to help people, and I know that, and I've seen people that I've helped, and that's all that matters to me. Is like, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm
That's it.
helping, and it doesn't matter what I believe in because I know when I die, I'm going to go to heaven, and that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yep. No, that does seem to be true. Live for Jesus. People, when their ass is on fire, they start praying. When it.
Mhm.
But
But I mean, I pray all the time. I
Mhm.
just don't know. I guess I'm praying to something, obviously. I don't just pray. I pray for people. I leave my work all the time when I see people in terrible, terrible situations. And I pray for their health, and their
Mhm.
peace. I pray for their families.
And that's just putting that positive energy out there, and that's,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like it's, it can't have, if you're putting positivity out into the world, that's what you get back. It mirrors what you put out, you know what I mean. So it's, and plus that's what I say to people when I have friends that are going through hardships. I try to imagine and push positive vibes and energy their way. Like, I literally try to consciously do that. I think it helps. It does help, because that's what they say praying does.
Yeah.
So it's the same type of thing. And that's what my belief is similar. I just want to be a good person, be known as a good person, truly want to be a good person and help others. And if it's good for everybody, we just do the best for everybody, for all of us, for the next generation, and that's what matters. That's all.
The best piece of advice I think that I ever got was, you know, when I said I grew up in a religious home. So when we used to
Type
literally
of that.
get on our hands and knees and like pray, just like the pictures that you see, all over. So all the time when I pray, I'm on my hands and knees praying at the bedside. And it wasn't until like later in life, my dad said, you could pray without being on your hands and knees. And the message is still going to get across. You don't have to be on your hands and knees to pray. And I think from that moment on, I was like praying all the time, and then realizing that even though I'm not saying that,
Yeah, you could be
that I'm
folding
religious,
laundry and praying.
yes,
Yeah.
or I'm driving home,
Mhm.
it was me thinking about my patients and praying for my patients, like driving home and I'm praying, like, for them and their family, or, and their
And
peace.
and here's the kicker: you don't even have to talk out loud.
You don't.
Mhm.
No, I know.
That's uh,
Yeah.
and it's, and I think it's the same thing with some of the spirits too. Although I do talk out loud at home, I talk to them like they're there in the room.
I know.
Steve-O, the
I
Todd.
can
Mhm.
hear you sometimes. I'll be downstairs cleaning the
Well,
front
I see
floor
him.
and I'll hear you upstairs.
I
Oh,
see
I
it.
know you're there.
Yeah,
Hey.
I see him. Like, I'll see a shadow enter the room, and then I'll hear something like shift or move. I'm like, oh, I know you're there. What's
I
up?
do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
I'm sure that they like that. I'm sure they like that
Mhm.
recognition. Like, oh, they know I'm here. That probably makes them feel good. That they feel accepted. And the cool, I like having. It's not even. I don't like calling it a haunted house, like you said. I don't like
Yeah.
calling it haunted, because they're
But
not
you said that
haunting our house.
perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're just existing. It's
They're
just
just
the way it
existing.
is.
Yep.
There's spirits everywhere,
Yep.
and
Everywhere.
they go places. The most common word that they use is visit. Visit.
Mhm.
I visit you. We visit you.
We
Yeah.
visit you. I like to visit. Come visit. I'm visiting.
Yeah.
That's such a commonly used
Yes.
word. It's really cool.
Well, it's like I always say, if you like, we go to cemeteries, and I go to cemeteries to get like release and to release energy and things. And a cemetery isn't really like packed with spirits, but if you go through and read their gravestones, they pop up.
Yes.
And it's happened to us, like when we're walking through gravestones and we're reading them, and all of a sudden the person pops up, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. And I'm telling my husband exactly how that person died. And then he Googles it and he's like, oh my God, you're right. I'm like, I know. I'm like, because they came up because you said their name.
I just said something about
awesome.
that on the last live, and I
Hmm.
said, like, when you go there to their burial site where
Hmm.
their remains are, even if they're not there, that's like, that's a way to communicate with, like, it's
Hmm.
the way to connect with them. If, like, and we know this for a fact, because we've done it with the spirit box. We've
Hmm.
gone down the line. Here's the crickets. Here's the next family and the next family,
And they show up.
and they do, they literally come through the spirit box.
Yeah. It's
I
like, it's
forgot their
just a
names.
way
I
of
feel bad, but I had a whole row
saying
of them.
hello.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they do. We walked down the line, and they all came through down the line.
Yeah.
It was that's really cool. So yeah,
I love doing it
that's
to the older cemeteries. Like in the
yes.
back, I always visit the back, and I always visit the babies
Hmm.
because they get forgotten about. So I'm always visiting, and I'm always just saying hey. And sometimes they want to talk. Sometimes they're just looking to see over here. And then like you'll have every once in a while where there is a spirit roaming around and they catch your attention and then they don't leave you alone. And then it's like, oh, hey, someone's here. Can you tell this person to come visit me? It's been a while. And I'm like, oh, it like breaks my heart. And I'm
They
just like,
like to
I'm
visit.
sorry. But they
Yeah.
like when you come and visit. And, you know, people are always like, oh, don't touch the graves. Don't stand on the graves. But I'm like, they don't care. They're like,
They
I'm
don't care.
dead. No, come touch my grave. Come visit me. Because my son runs through the cemeteries all the time and he's always sitting on the benches and you'll see him talking. And they're like, what is he doing? I'm like, oh, he's talking to somebody. I'm like, that's what he does. And he'll be like, oh, this is theirs. And he'll move things and put them back. And, you know, I love a cemetery. I love going in.
It's our favorite. We
It's
love
my
it.
We
favorite
love
too.
it too. But
I love it.
we thought it was really cool when we were able to like we realized that they're everywhere with us, you know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what's I don't understand. Like, I was watching. I think it was a Kindred Spirits, and Amy and Adam were they were investigating this block of businesses or houses or something. It was the same block, but on one end of the block there was a spirit, and they were under the assumption that it was the same spirit that was coming from this house to that house, and they were like it was some huge shocking revelation, like groundbreaking new thing that they figured out. That's so freaking common, it's ridiculous.
I saw
It's
that
like, what?
episode, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, seriously? I'm like, you guys have been doing this how long? And you're just now figuring this out? Here's another example. Zach Bagans and all them, they talk about how the same negative entity remembers them wherever they go. Of course, because
Mhm.
it can be anywhere you go. Like
But we're just really kind of learned that since we put our channel together too.
so, yes, but
So the
so
last year,
we figured out that stuff is
As you get used to it.
verifiable. Right,
Yeah.
right. It's just that I thought that they would have figured this stuff out a lot sooner, being as we figured out a lot of the stuff in the first year of our YouTube channel. But we really have done so much more with the spirit box and have gotten so many more spirits coming through since we've started this channel. It's like it has outshined all of our old investigations. The stuff we did prior to YouTube, we weren't doing as detailed and thorough of an investigation.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to share a comment Lisa said about the praying really quick because it was important. It says we also have to remember that just because we don't get the answer we want to our prayers doesn't mean they
very
weren't
true.
heard. There was other plans that a higher being knew, and that is just I agree, 110%.
We don't.
Share that.
That's true. Like I said, that like we know they arrange stuff from
Mhm.
that side.
Things
We don't know.
happen for a reason.
Yep, we don't know, and we don't need to know. We're here to experience new things and to learn new lessons and to
Mhm.
evolve. That's what we're here for.
That's what you're put down on earth for, 100%.
Yep.
You choose, and I say this to everybody I do a reading to, is when you think about your life, what's the one thing you struggle with? And that's what you came down to earth to learn about. And that's what I say all the time. Like we're like sponges. We want to learn and know more and learn more. Even when we're up in heaven, like we know everything, but we want that experience. So that's why we come down and we want to know everything and learn everything.
And I think like once you realize that, at least I feel this way for myself and John. So a lot of people who know us know that we've been together for almost 30 years, and our 25th wedding anniversary is coming up. So I've been with John since I was a child, really more than half my life. So like we've grown a lot spiritually together. But when he got diagnosed several years ago, and he was really sick, it really brought that to like light for us. Like, but once you realize that you're here to experience, the like just to find. We try to find beauty in everything.
Yeah.
We really do. So we like to travel not just because we want to go to these places with spirits, because we already know those spirits come from everywhere. You can find them in a cemetery, and you can find them in a home, and
In
you
our
can find them
home,
in the library.
we don't
you
even
can
have to
find them
leave
at
our house,
parties.
guys. We can just do videos in our house.
We truly
Hang
don't
out.
even know that, but We go for the experience, for the history.
See new things.
I mean, we
meet
stood
new
outside
people.
yesterday and just looked at this. Was it a magnolia tree or
Southern magnolia trees? We love those.
Before, but they had these beautiful white flowers on them. So then we're just standing there, just talking about how large those flowers were, and just taking it all in. I'm like, and I know we've traveled to a lot of southern places. A lot of the bed and breakfasts we've gone to have been south.
Yep.
So I know I've seen the tree before, but we really took the time.
It was everything's in bloom and everything. It's. We haven't been down here in the heat in the middle of summer yet.
It's been winter or fall, I think, when we've been down here before.
So, but guys, it is.
Yeah, I want to run to the store.
It is starting to. The sun's starting to go down just a little bit. We're getting excited. We're gonna set some stuff up, and we have some people on the other side. Last night we had the whole entire place to ourselves. Tonight we have a couple that are staying on the other side in Sarah's room 37. They're also paranormal people, so we invited them to come down and do a session with us and have some fun. So it's all going to be on video, guys. So you guys get to see it all here soon. So
and thank you for hanging with us, Tiffany.
Yeah, and all the new people.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you to everybody.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Please like and subscribe.
Yep, smash that like button, guys, and we'll see you guys here soon. Have a great night.
Bye.
See y'all.